We are all too familiar, particularly in the internet marketing industry, with fake, poorly done affiliate promotions that masquerade themselves as reviews. And see the air quotes. That's entirely not what we're going to be talking about in this video. Reviews are really one of the most opportune times to sell a product directly on your site while still giving great content to your readers and not having it be just full-on advertisement. So why not take this opportunity and do it right? And while reviews are something that we read all the time, we don't often think about what makes a really good review. So let's look at the elements of a great review, because it's the really well thought out reviews that the reader can trust and that causes them to buy. Bottom line, when you are honest, it builds trust. So be honest in your reviews. So first, here are some of the things that you can do to build trust via honesty. Number one, you want to have used the product yourself. If it's a book, read the book. If it's a how-to guide, implement the steps. If it's a bike, ride the bike. It's impossible for you to have, if it's impossible for you to have tried every single item, like every single mountain bike in the world, I'm going to show you a few steps later on to honestly deal with that issue, as opposed to pretending that you have in fact tried that item and are reviewing it. But the point here is to never ever pretend to have tried something that you haven't, not even by just omitting the fact that you haven't actually used this thing. Also, due to new FCC regulations, this might come into play for you if you're in the United States. If you get a freebie or a demo product from the manufacturer or product seller in hopes that you'll review it, you've got to disclose that in your review. Also, review the stuff that you love and the stuff that you don't love. Even if you can't give a product a positive review, you can indicate why that's the case and then direct your website visitors, your review readers or watchers, to a product or a review that you've done that may be a better fit, something that you do recommend. One mountain bike might not be a match for you, so tell your readers why, and then tell them what is a match for you and link to that post and put that information out there for people. Next is sort of a no-brainer, but you only want to review the things that are useful to your readers. So back to the tomato growing, you've got a tomato growing blog. It's not going to make sense for you to review mountain bikes on that site, right? Instead, you'll review things like seeds and seed providers and gardening tools and fertilizer mixes and that sort of stuff. A mountain bike review on a site like that would come out of left field and not really be useful for your audience. Start a mountain biking blog to publish those kind of things. So let's get back to the elements of a great review. What's coming is a list of the questions and considerations to take into account when considering a product's review. Now, not all of these will be applicable every time for every product, but take a peek at this list each time to ensure that all your bases are covered. So the first thing that you need to do when creating a review is sort of put together an elevator pitch for a product. You want to do an overview, summarize it. How big is this thing? Who did you get it from? What's the price? What's the model number? What are the specs versus other products in the niche? So the basics, what is this thing, and what are the top things that people need to know about it? Then you need to consider in your review durability. Did it hold up to use? Does it look like it will hold up to use? Is there a hinge that looks weak? Does it feel cheap? That kind of thing. Or did it feel super solid? You want to consider durability. You also want to take a look at performance. How did it perform? If it's got a super fast processor, did it move super fast? If it has 78 gears, were you able to switch through them? That sort of thing. And again, this is totally dependent on the product, but how did it perform? If it's a how-to type of product, when you followed those steps, was it easy? And then, of course, did it actually work? Look at the attractiveness of the product. Is it good to look at? And, you know, what's attractive to a man in a buck knife may be very different from what's attractive to a lady in her bath salts, to get ridiculously stereotypical on you there. But consider the audience as well when you're deciding if something is attractive. Or is attractive is not at all something that you would take into account with this kind of product. But consider it, think about it, make a statement about it in your review. Look at who is the buyer. who's the best buyer for this product? Is it the person who's new to the niche? Is it the person who's super advanced? Is it a subset within a niche? That sort of thing. Consider who is the ideal buyer for this product and why they would want to buy it. Let readers know we've got the specs. We talked about those in the beginning when we did the elevator pitch, the summary of the product. But you want to let the people know what those features are. So let's talk about a camera that comes with a 8 zillion times macro lens. That means nothing to me. It sounds interesting, but I don't actually know what that means. That's a feature. Telling me the optical zoom, whatever, is a feature. Instead, or not instead, because you do need to include the features, but relate those features into benefits. So having a camera come with a macro lens, to me, the inexperienced photographer who knows very little about the niche, it would be much more interesting and a better whole picture of the product if you also told me that that meant that if I took a picture of a fly, I could get so close up with this lens that I could see the hairs on its back. That's a benefit. So tell me the feature and then also tell me what that means in a benefit. And that's how you work with features and benefits in your reviews. You also want to compare the product that you're looking at now versus similar products in the niche. Is it better? Is it bigger? Is it faster? Is it smaller? Is it prettier? Does it come with more accessories? Does it have less features? Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? So on and so forth. But compare it to what else is out there. You also need to include a visual. It's one thing to read a review, and that could be incredibly informative, but if your piece is written, do include a visual, whether that's a movie, whether that is just a screenshot or a photograph, a stock image of the item, but do include a visual so that people can kind of see what they're taking a look at. Now, if there are particular points that you want to illustrate about a product like a weak hinge or something like that, then you could absolutely include pictures or visuals, close-ups of that kind of thing as well. So now we've covered the basics of how to do your review, and we've looked at, this was kind of like the who, what, when, where, how, and why of a review, the solid stuff that you've got to have in every review. Now let's take a look at the angles that you can take when writing product reviews and how to make your reviews better than everybody else's. So the first thing we need to do is know the product in depth. A surface review that is based on the 6-line description that every single Amazon product has isn't going to be helpful to your audience. It's only so-so. And it doesn't instill the same kind of confidence that a review from somebody who really knows their stuff up and down does. So get to know the product really, really well before you do your review. And if it's a video game, that might mean playing it several times. If that's a mountain bike, that might mean going out on a few rides. If it's a book, obviously you're really only going to read the book once, but you should have more to say about it. You should know more about the book than just, it was good. Explain why. Talk about the things that you remember about the experience, the things that bothered you, the places where you felt like they could have done a better job creating this product or this book, whatever the case may be. You also want to speak from two perspectives when you're doing a review. You want to speak from the perspective of a newbie, and you also want to speak from the perspective of a longtime user of that kind of product. So let's take a flip video camera. For a newbie to recording video who doesn't have anything else to do that kind of recording with, that's an interesting product because it's really low barrier to entry for them. There's one button that they press and it records, right? And it creates beautiful HD video. For a longtime user of video and recording stuff, it obviously isn't going to have the same kind of features that a higher end camera might have. But if they don't have something like a Droid or an Android or an iPhone to take HD video while they're on the go, the Flip is a great solution to carrying around a big giant video camera on those occasions when you may just want to whip it out and take a quick video. So explain to people in what instance this works for a newbie, in what instance this works for a longtime user of the type of products, and it might not work for a newbie. It might be something that's purely for advanced folks, or vice versa, but talk about that so that when somebody looks at a product and they know where they fit into that niche, whether they're new, whether they're advanced, when they read your review, they can see how they fit in with that product. Now, show people not just what the product is, but also show them how to use it best. Give them a use case scenario. Say, this set of kitchen scissors is fantastic for filleting chicken, but it isn't as good for opening bags of dog food. But give them a use case scenario. Tell them what the product's really for, and even show them possibly how you used that product in that instance. And how to use it best, too. Now, if you've got something negative to say about the product, or if there's a concern or something else, a question that was brought up as you use the product, you may want to contact the manufacturer and ask them for a statement about that. They may or may not have a statement. They may or not want to respond, but it's something that you can put out there to give them the opportunity to respond to any concerns that you have about the product. And it also kind of gives you and your side a scoop, because you've got some information that other folks don't, if in fact the manufacturer does respond. Now, you can also find product questions out there, go to forums, do your Yahoo Answers, do your answers.com, that kind of thing. See what people are asking about that specific product, and then answer those questions in your review. That way you know exactly what people are looking for, and you ensure that you cover those points when you're doing your review. Another way to kind of frame your review is as problem, product, solution. User has this problem. They want to take HD video, but they don't want to spend a lot of money. Here's a product, the Flip Minnow HD video camera that's, $120, which is a solution to that problem that they had. So if you can kind of tell a story, if you can arc that in such a way that there's a problem, this product offers a solution, again, without being salesy, but by doing it as a review, doing it as informative, doing it as helpful, that can be an interesting way to do your reviews. Sometimes companies would even be willing to offer up some demos of their product for your readers, so it never hurts to ask. You can ask a company to donate one of the products, or 2 of the products, or 5 of the products to your blog readers, and then you can raffle it off to your audience. Now, this isn't, of course, obviously a good idea if you don't like the product, and it's also not something, or it's something that can be done outside of a product review. But if you have a really positive product review and you would like to get some exposure to it, one of the best ways to get exposure to that review is via some sort of contest or raffle. Now, a company would love to see more traffic towards positive reviews of their products. So in many cases, they will be willing to do that. So don't set that aside. Don't disconsider it, because it's a possibility that can bring you traffic and bring the company good PR. So they oftentimes are willing to do it. Now, in some markets, it's going to be pretty tough to try everything, either because of time constraints, because of the cost, or that it just doesn't make sense to do so. So here's 4 ways that you can deal with the situation of how you can still get a review out there without having had to actually try the product, and when it's appropriate to use these ideas. So first thing is, if a product is missing features. If it doesn't have the feature you want and it's just out, you're not going to try it because it's missing something, then obviously you can do a review saying, hey, I was really interested in this product. I looked at these specs. These things of it look really, really interesting, but it's missing this, and that's what I need, so I didn't get it. That doesn't mean that you've looked at it. That doesn't mean that you bought it. You're being honest, in fact, that you did not buy it, but you're telling people why you didn't. Now, for some people, the thing that is a deal breaker for you may not be for them. So your review, as you go over the other things that the product does have, could still convince folks that, hey, that is what they're looking for, in fact. So let me give you an example of that. Lynn Terry, who writes Click News, and I do internet marketing this week with her and Ed and Paul Colligan at times. She and I were both looking for a small HD video camera, and I liked the Flip because it was small and convenient, and she liked a different one. I don't remember which one it was, but her big thing that she wanted was the ability to use a lapel mic with it that plugged into the camera, so that you could get audio from a mic as opposed to from the mic that is built into the camera. So she wouldn't consider the flip period because it didn't fulfill one of the specs that she needed. Now, for me, that spec wasn't that important. I didn't care about it. So I went on and I bought the flip. Lynn went on and she bought whichever other camera it was, and she was very happy with it because it fulfilled the requirement that she had, the specs that she had. So if something's missing a feature for you, don't be afraid to say, hey, this looks like a good product, except that it's missing this particular feature that I need. If you don't need that feature, then it might be a great fit for you. Another case where you may be able to do a review type of post without having actually reviewed the product yourself, or I'm sorry, without having actually tried the product yourself, is if it really just got such horrible reviews and the consensus amongst everybody else is so bad that you don't even want to try it. So in that case, you're going to explain why, and you're going to support your argument with links to other people's thoughts or perhaps embedded YouTube videos or that kind of thing, saying, you know, I was going to try this this camera, but, you know, I saw this video on YouTube about how it exploded and blinded somebody, and then I decided that that wasn't a good idea. I saw all of these reviews on Amazon about how the battery leaked within 3 months of buying this laptop, and so I decided not to buy it myself. So those are my thoughts on it. And again, don't try to say, hey, this happened to me. Don't try to say that this is your direct experience, but you can say, hey, you know what? I've thought about this. I've looked into it. It's not the right thing for me. I don't really know that it'll be the right thing for you guys either, because the consensus out there is so bad. But that's what I've found. And leave it at that. Again, honesty really goes a long way in this. Another thing that you can do if you can't exactly review a product directly for whatever reason is do a compilation. And by that, I mean get a general sense of what the market thinks and put it together. So let's say you're in the mountain biking niche. There's going to be a few people out there probably who've reviewed a particular helmet. And maybe you can't get your hands on one. Maybe they're sold out right now. So you're going to instead take some very select 1, maybe 2-line quotes from the best stuff out there. It's kind of like curation, but in a review. You're going to take the very best stuff that's out there from the people who do have access to the product, and you're going to link to it. You're going to quote it. You're going to say, hey, I found out this from this person. I found out this from this person. I found out this from this company blog. And then I've got these pictures over here. This looks really interesting. This looks like something that I want to get a hold of too. I haven't been able to yet. It's not in the budget, or it's not in the timeline, or it's simply sold out, whatever the case may be. But I really want to know more about this. Boom, done. So that's a compilation of what's available. And then there's the possibility of user-generated reviews. And don't overlook the ability of your readers to create content for you. Now, in most cases, you're going to have to seed it with your own review or two. So you've got a mountain bike helmet review site. You can't start it off blank and expect people to do all the work for you. But if you publish 5, 6 really great reviews, people will start coming. They'll look for reviews to other things. And then you want to create something like this. Now, this is metaldetectorreviews.net. I've been using this site as an example site for a long time. I like these guys. I like what they do with this site. And here is the page for the MindLab GPX 4800. It has not been reviewed yet. This is a brand new metal detector, apparently. And the people who visit the site go ahead and click the submit your review button, and they put in their own reviews for the products featured on this site. And you can do this on your site as well. People do it all day long on this site. Once a review is submitted and the people who own the site, who I don't know, I've just found the site years ago and thought it was a good example of a review site. Once the review's been submitted, you see at the bottom, Tom Long in Arkansas has submitted his review for the White's Prism 2. This page goes and scrolls and scrolls and scrolls. There's many reviews on this page. So reviews can be user-generated. Again, you're going to have to seed it at first with your own stuff. But people do want to share their opinion. And in particular, when a site is very specifically niche-focused, people will take the time to do that on your niche-focused site because they're such enthusiasts in this niche that they want to kind of hang out. They want to be appreciated by other folks within the niche too. So don't overlook the ability to get user-generated reviews on your site for those products that you may not have access to, may not have the budget for, may not have the time to go over. Reviews are also great to follow an unboxing kind of post. You could do the here I am opening the thing, and now that I've had the chance to really get to know the thing, here are my thoughts on it kind of review. Honest reviews bring you sales. Just like unboxing posts, people reading reviews are really just looking for a push in the right direction. They want to know that they're making the right decision. So don't forget your affiliate links when you're writing those reviews. So let's give you a quick recap. Always be honest when you're writing reviews. Share the good and the bad, the good products, the bad products, the good things about a product, and the bad things about a product. Give a product summary. Discuss its performance, discuss its durability, discuss its attractiveness, ask who the product is best suited for, and compare it with similar products in the niche. Cover the features and benefits and include some sort of image or video if you haven't done that already. And again, always include your affiliate links because reviews are a primo spot for your monetization.